All right, we're live right now. It's Saturday, September 21st. We're streaming on SharpMoney Twitch, Closing Dime YouTube, which is my channel, and Bet SharpMoney on Twitter. We got Jeff, otherwise known as Math Wins. We got Braxton, one of our moderators, and Boat, one of our other moderators, joining us today. As people roll in, we're just going to go through some of our stats. I think me and Jeff are going to share our Pickett page and just kind of walk through how our month is going in different categories. So right here, this is my month of September. I started with a little bit of a dip down, about $1,000. I'm betting about $100 units right now. So that was like 10 units down. I actually hit a touchdown parlay that was not really anything to do with EV betting. So that was $1,000 worth of profit. So really just EV betting, I'm probably only up like 4 or 5 units this month. We can look at some of my categories here. So this is MLB, and Jeff will he'll probably just touch on it, but MLB's been kind of rough for a lot of people, but I've done really good this month. I don't know why we're seeing some different variants, but that's just part of sports betting. I have, small edge here. I'm only beating the closing line 47% of the time, but the ROI is 6% here, up about 14 units. So MLB has been my best sport this month by quite a bit. NFL, I'm actually, like I said, I hit that $1,000 parlay, so I'm pretty much even on NFL, and that's another market where I know Jeff is crushing it. I'm kind of down there. And then the one other market that's kind of killing me is tennis, but tennis all time for me is like 15% ROI. This month I'm almost down $900, but that's just a bad swing here. If I look at all-time tennis, yeah, it's great. So let's see what we got. Yeah, like 17% ROI over 250 bets is kind of crazy. So I'll let Jeff kind of talk about his stats real quick, and then we'll get into all the questions you guys have. We'll go over finding some plays in the Sharp Money Discord, and we'll go over a few other things. So I'll switch over the screen to Jeff's Pickett page now, and you can go from here.
What's up, guys? Welcome in. Just want to share with you, I know we're 2-3 weeks into the season now. I want to share with you both NFL, college football, and kind of NFL prop bot, kind of what my results have been so far. NFL has been just absolutely killer. So the plays that you see that I'm going to share with you guys are just straight from Sharp Money Discord, only from our positive EV bot. You can see in NFL this month, almost a 25% ROI, which is just ridiculous. Not sustainable, but we're enjoying the hot streak right now. I would imagine that kind of comes back to a more realistic ROI, but having these kinds of results early just shows that the product is what it is, and it's turning out profits at a good clip to start the season. A couple things, as you look at this, one thing that I really like to see, and I wish Pickett would actually come out and tell us how they calculated closing line value bets. But if you're beating the closing line at 61%, you're going to be a profitable sports bettor no matter what book you're playing on, no matter what platform. So just seeing that in NFL is huge. If I switch over to college football, this one's kind of interesting. So still seeing about a 17% ROI, a less than 500 record, which just means that, we're playing EV plays here. We're playing a lot of dogs, a lot of positive or plus odds. This is also why I'm curious to see how Pickett calculates CLV, because you see closing line value here only at 43%. We're playing really heavily favored, or at least these plays are really heavily favored to Bookmaker and Circa. So I'm curious if Pickett really weights like retail books in their closing line value, like if they're more of a market average and then they just devig everything, or if they're playing just some kind of sharp, if they're playing Pinnacle. Really wish they would come out and tell us that so we could get a little bit more data on that CLV, but really good results there. And then, so these are both available. All these plays will be available in our premium subscription. And then I'll share with you as well our NFL prop bot through 2 weeks. You can see 36 plays over 2 weeks, almost a 12% ROI again. Once again, CLV doesn't look great here, but I'm just very curious to see how they are calculating that, because very small sample size, but results are looking good early in a season. So that's just kind of where I'm at so far. I would love for you guys to, kind of pick our brains a little bit in Discord, ask us questions that you want, between Robbie, myself, Jays, our mods, Boat, Brayton. We're very transparent with you guys. We want to help you guys kind of understand what we're doing versus just tailing. But that's kind of why we're here and why we started this Discord.
Yeah, I definitely have the same question with the closing line value. There's definitely no way that they're pulling Circa or bookmaker lines. I know it's really hard to get that data. I know Pinnacle is kind of easier to get, but I'm pretty sure they're just using a market average, but don't quote me on that. We got one question in the chat, so I'm going to pop it up, and this one's on YouTube, so I'm just going to share it to the screen so everyone can see it, whether you're on Twitter or Twitch. Before I answer this, I'm actually curious if anyone is from Twitter, because no one's commented from Twitter yet. I'm just curious if we're pulling anyone from there. But do you place multiple bets per game, or does correlation scare you away? If you see one positive EV bet for the money line, total runs, is that a good opportunity for both? So what I typically say is, this is kind of a personal opinion, but I don't typically want to do more than like 3 or 4 units on one correlated play. So if I see, let's just say we have our bot flags a play for over 7.5 runs, over 8 runs, over 8.5 runs, and they're all EV, I will typically just sprinkle, maybe 1 unit on each of them, or just play the one with the highest EV percentage is usually the way to go, in my opinion. Anyone have anything to input on that question?
I handle it similarly. Same, like I'll bet the first one that I see, and if they ping, if multiple plays ping, I may weight my bet size a little lower, just because I'm already playing one. Exactly. But I'll play a couple, 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. All right, I'll pop over to our actual Discord. If you guys aren't familiar with the SharpMoney Discord, if you're new here, basically we have a few different types of bots that are scanning the sharp books like Bookmaker, Circa, and Pinnacle, and we're just finding positive EV plays to those books. If you don't know what positive EV betting is, it's simply just using books that set more accurate lines. They've been historically proven to set more accurate lines, and just comparing those odds to retail books that are kind of slow to move their lines when news comes out or sharp bettors starting hitting one line. So do we have any other questions that we should get to before I find any bets? I think we had or let's just talk about some of the updates that we were actually.
Yeah, let's talk about the 3 new channels we put in, Robbie.
Yeah, so the 3 new channels we added is in our callouts page here. And this is, if you're a premium member, you get access to this. And essentially what it does is every time I place a bet from one of the bots, my plays go to my closing dime bot plays. So you can follow and get notifications. So every time I see a good bet, I will send it to my channel, and you can kind of tail me. This is good for, we had a lot of members, new members, basically wanting to see, what type of bets that we're placing as owners, and we've been doing this for so long, and we obviously have the profits to show it. So new members kind of want to see what we're looking for. Mathwins and Jay's plays.
Robbie, I'm not sure we can see your screen right now.
Oh, what am I sharing? Hold on one second. I'll try to swing you back over here. Oh yeah, I don't know why. All right, sorry. Put us all in the box. Yeah, so these are the call out channels I was talking about. And I haven't done a write-up yet, but I'll actually have Mathwins, if you want to talk about your how your breakdown here a little bit of how you find bot.
So if you guys go to my bot play section, under the pin messages is just a kind of a brief description of what I'm looking for in every bot play. So you can see I've kind of outlined MLB, NCAA football, NFL, really for football in general, college football especially. I'm looking for Circa and Bookmaker to be in on there. If Penny backs one of them, that's even better. But I will not take Penny alone for college football. I'm looking, just because of the amount of money they take, the limits there are for what the action Penny will allow. It's much smaller than Circa and Bookmaker on college sports specifically. And then the other thing that I'm always looking to avoid early is first quarter bets. I know we've had a lot of pings late in the week. So like if something pinged this morning on a first quarter line, I'd hop on it. But early in the week, the limits are so small that I don't think we're really getting in a true value that I feel confident betting, on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday in the week for a Saturday college football game. And that just solely has to do with the amount of money that sharp books are taking in on those markets.
Yeah, I'll add to that too, because me and Jay's plays were talking this morning. He was looking at, I think, a play ping for like a first half under on, I forgot what book it was, maybe FanDuel, but bookmaker went in, they had like $1,600 limits on that first half market, which is actually really low. We went into FanDuel and they were actually accepting larger limits than bookmaker. So those sharp books really, you can't trust them as much in the first quarter and first half markets, but their money lines and spreads are really where the limits are huge. And that's kind of where you find the most value there. Before we get into some of these channels with the plays here, I basically agree with everything. I got to write this up myself, but I agree with everything that Jeff has posted here. When it comes to football, mostly college football, it's bookmaker and Circa, but NFL, Pinnacle can be involved with that too. But Brayton and Boat, how have you guys done this month sports betting? We obviously went into really a lot of detail with me and Jeff's Pickett account, but if you just give us a quick overview of how you guys are doing, doesn't have to be anything crazy, but
yeah, without looking at my numbers, the first week and a half of September, I was down 10, 15 units, one green day in 10 days, maybe. It's turned around. It's turned around the last week or two. And I think I'm up maybe 7 units on the month. Nice. So hopefully it'll continue and I'll have a pretty good month by the end of it.
Nice. What about you, Bo? How you doing?
Yeah, we're up this month. Currently 23 units. Primetime football has been making me great money. Monday, green. Thursdays, green. Let's see. The prop bot for the NFL has been super banging.
Hey, Boat on the NFL prop bot, what books are you primarily playing?
A lot on Fanatics. Fanatics is sleep on a lot. It's like earlier this week, I grabbed Brandon Ayuk line at like 60 receiving yards, and the line's already at 73, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, Fanatics has been way off.
Yeah.
I wish I had better limits on that. $10 limit on them, but man,
yeah, I have $10 limits too, so I don't really focus on them too much. We were talking about this last stream too, but Fanatics actually has decent limits on NFL lines, like main lines. So if you think you're limited down really bad on Fanatics, I would double check that. You might be able to get quite a bit of action on them now. I'll do a quick plug for our NFL prop bot too. Obviously, it's only been up and running for a couple weeks now, but it's $9.99 a month. You get access to, I think we have like 23 different books that we scan for, and we're finding, you could easily find probably 10 prop bets on each book that you have. So there's a ton of opportunity there for $10 a month, 30 cents a day, you can definitely get a lot of value from it. So we'll be adding different prop bots for other markets too. Right now we have an MLB prop bot that's included with our premium subscription. So we'll be looking forward to, last year we had I think we opened up this Discord at the NBA postseason, and we had an NBA prop bot that was just killing it. So excited to open up the other prop bots. So here's a play that I was just looking at earlier, and this is one that we're kind of talking about where we have bookmaker odds. They're priced at -110, but this is the first half total points. So we have over 21.5 plus 106 on FanDuel. So we're getting 3% value to bookmaker. So this is one of those plays that I actually probably would play. I'm probably looking for at least 3% to bookmaker or Circa when it comes to some of these smaller markets. If we're looking at full game spreads or totals, I will bet down to 1% when it's against bookmaker or Circa. So this is a play that I would be taking here. We have a few people on it. Brayton's on it right there. That's the other cool thing with our Discord. when I go to place this bet, I click place bet, and then my name will pop up here, and I'll know to not place it again. But
I'm glad you said that, Robbie, because I just sent that to my bot feed. So thanks for agreeing with me and not creating some conflict here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is one, and this is the type of play that I'm off. Like, I'm not probably taking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because it's a first half. Like, limits are just too low on the sharp books. But Saturday morning, the day of the game, I'm all over this, especially at 3% value.
Yeah. So
there's one in Caesars right now. It's a first quarter to bookmaker. You want to look at it?
Right there, same type of situation.
Yep.
Did you grab this one?
Not yet. I just saw it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. 3% EV to bookmaker. Day of first quarter. Yeah, first quarter bet. These are ones that we're taking. Let's see. I saw one. I think it was just DraftKings. So this goes with any market too. Obviously, if you're betting MLB, first inning bets, first half bets, you want to see higher EV percentages before you play them. This one right here I kind of like, though, because we have a little bit of downward movement by Circa going from -125 to -130. So when we see sharp books dropping their price, that means that a group of profitable bettors or sharp bettors hit this line at -125, which means they found the fair value to be better than -125, pricing it down to -130. So if sharps like this at -125, then I should definitely be liking it at -106. And since this is a game that is going on in a few hours, this is a bet that I would definitely hit too. And I typically tend to lean Circa a little bit more across the board with any bet. So it's a ton of value compared to Circa. Probably not really much value when you just compare Pinnacle, but when you put them both together for the DVIG, you're getting a 1.6% EV. And
hey, Robbie, we had a question in chat that I think goes along with the one question we had in the live stream questions. So Devin posted a play in the live stream questions, and then Breeze just asked this in chat. It often happens that retail book is shooting up on the graph, and the sharp books are either shooting down or stable. Do you guys have any idea why a book would do this? And then if you pop up the live stream questions channel, there's a graph in there that kind of expresses or shows this question. Maybe we can pull that up as we hit on it.
Yep, I'll pull it up right now.
Perfect.
This one right here.
So, yeah. So to me, like, there's really no reason a retail book like shoots up or down in terms of like when it's going to happen, but it's just the way they price their lines too, because they have limits. They're looking to bring in a certain amount of money on either side. So that could cause a movement. A lot of different things could cause a retail book to move. Specifically, like in this one that Devin has, this is a Fanatics line. Fanatics is not a sharp book, and don't trust their jumps like this. Trust your sharp movement. So if a retail book is shooting up or down, FanDuel is the one that I would sometimes get just cautious with, just because they do have decent limits on some markets compared to sharp books. But any other retail book, I would trust your sharp action versus a retail making a huge jump like this.
Yeah, I'd agree there. FanDuel is the only book that if I see them moving up, I kind of question a little bit. Sometimes I'll just give it a few minutes to see how that line moves. But yeah, for the most part, as long as the sharps are stable, I'm not too worried about a book moving up. But yeah, FanDuel definitely sometimes is pretty quick on moving their odds. I think they could get injury reports, because if the sharp books move on, money being bet into them, if the books get information of injuries or something, they might be able to move quicker than the sharps placing the bets. So that's the only time I feel like it actually happens. When you're positive EV betting, you don't have to be right 100% of the time to make money. We need to just beat that closing line over, 50, 60% of the time. So I'm not afraid to take shots in this. But obviously, I think if you do place a bet like that, you just want to track it and see how that closing line moves. If you end up getting beat at the closing line, maybe try to lay off those types of bets. But like when it's Fanatics or one of the other books, I really don't put much weight into them moving their lines, to be honest. All right, I'm looking for a couple other bets here.
While you're looking, Robbie, here's one more question we can answer. Dice just asked, when you guys see high EV play calling for 3 or more units at half Kelly, how high will you actually go?
You want to answer that one? Or you want me to grab it?
So me, I'm more aggressive than most in terms of I'll go pretty aggressively and play. I've played 4 units on a play before. I get hesitant when it's so far off that it's like 20% EV, like something just doesn't seem right there. Like books usually aren't off that much. I know, Dime, your rule of thumb is usually 3 unit max. But I think it just depends on how confident you are in the fair value. I think having a 3 unit max is fine. I think, if you're really confident in the line that you see and the play, I think you could go 4 units, 5 units on it. I know Adam was in here, EV Adam, who's another one of our mods, was in here talking the other day. And it's like when you do play big unit plays, like those 4 unit, 5 unit plays, you're going to lose some. Like that's just EV betting. And it's going to hurt when you lose some. But you're also going to win some. And in the long run, you're going to win, or the ones that you win are going to outweigh the ones that you lose. So it's like, what can you really stomach as an EV better? And that's kind of personal preference. Like if you can't stomach a 5 unit loss, then put a cap on yourself and go from there. But if you can kind of remove your emotions from it, as long as it has expected value, positive expected value, it's gonna work out in the long run.
Yeah, I get this. For me, obviously, like when it comes to promos, we see some massive EVs, like 20, 25%. So I'm always like, my rule of thumb is always 3 units, but I feel like with some of these situations, if you're a beginner and you can grow your bankroll with these massive EV plays, like maybe 5 units, but that, like, to me, that's a lot now that my unit size is larger. But if it was smaller, and you could take advantage of these promos, then I would hit probably a little bit more than 3 units on those. But it's all about what you can stomach. If you're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to make you really upset looking at that number, then you shouldn't be playing it. This is something that it takes time to get comfortable with. Like I said, I started with $20 units. If I lost more than $100 in a day, I wanted to puke the next day. But now it's like I can handle, if I don't see a comma, it's not really worrying me right now. Brayden, you still yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of maxing myself at 2 units only because of the my increased unit size, that it's a bit much for me to stomach losing more than that.
Yeah, give us a little background of where you started. And how you did it.
So started EV betting March with about $1,000 bankroll, so $10 units. Met Dimes, started this Discord, jumped in. I first started on OddsJam, and as soon as this Discord was created, I canceled OddsJam, and it's been great. And in the 6 or 7 months I've been here, I'm at $100 units. So started with a $10 unit. I'm at $100 units, and so now I switched about a month ago to $100 units. So a $200 bet is a little bit much to swallow. And I'll do some on tennis. I see most of it where I'm having $200 plays. I'm getting more comfortable losing those. So, and I think that's just a timing thing. It just takes time to get comfortable with it. But, it's been great to me. So I'm going to keep trying to increase this unit, each month and see what happens.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you've grown really quick. See, the problem, like once you get comfortable with the units you're at now, you'll probably look back and be like, damn, if I was just comfortable betting more then, I left some money on the table. I was always really conservative, so I didn't grow as quickly as I probably should have. But for me, that's just what I was comfortable with at the time. Yes, I could have made more money and I left some money on the table, but at the same time, it's all, everyone's got their own, what they're comfortable with. So,
right.
All right, let's see. We got one more question here on Twitch, it looks like. One SG Joe, great job, Sharp Money. I'm a fan of the Discord. You guys are outstanding teachers. My question is, if fair value is 141 or a 45% win probability, is the percent of the current value, is that the floor of the bet? I guess I'm not sure That's the current value. It's not really the floor. So if we're flagging a play at a 45% win probability, we're getting that price at that's assuming that price should be plus 141. So if we're finding any value that, say we find it on a book that has plus 145 odds, then we are getting good value on that bet. So it's not the floor of the value, it's the current value, which can change. But that's why we have the line movement chart. So if you see that the fair value is 140 and it's starting to move up, 145 or something like that, then it's something you might want to avoid. But if the fair value is dropping and it's becoming a more probable outcome, then that's a good play. The line movement is huge. I think I think Brayton's too. He says he basically just looks at the charts and doesn't even really check the EV. And I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like, as long as that chart looks good, I'm on it.
Yep.
The one thing I'll say with that is on the charts, our scales are different on every chart. So you want to look at the scale too. Like a 5-cent change is a lot different than a 15-cent drop in terms of when we're chasing like the steam of a bet. So just make sure you guys are looking at that scale on the left. The more it's changing in our favor, the better bet it is. If a sharp book is changing, 1 or 2 cents, that could literally just be them moving from like a 5% hold to a 4% hold, like decreasing their vig on the bet. So just be aware of that too as you guys are reading charts.
Yeah, here's speaking of charts and just how they can get a little funky here. So we graph 0. So this is kind of a little flaw that we might be able to work on here. But this jump, it looks like crazy drastic, but I'm guessing MGM was probably priced at like minus 101 or something, and then it moved across that 0 mark. I mean, this is a big move because it went to like 120, 115. So it is a kind of a large move, but this is showing like, it's showing a bigger move than it actually is. And here, this is actually quite a big move downwards, but since we're showing 100 to 150 in the small little range, you can't really tell how much it's moving downwards. But this is clearly the sharp book is moving down, and looks like Bet Online with this one probably overextended the price here. So this is a bet I would take even at a low EV. This is a couple NFL props pinging. So
yeah, I didn't realize I didn't even see this last night, but as I was going through my promos and putting out a bunch of promo plays, but we got a college football lottery boost here I might have to throw together.
Oh, nice. I did one on DraftKings. They had like the stepped up parlays. Is that what you're talking about? Or
yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I was out this morning, so I didn't see it, but I'm gonna have to get on this one.
So we'll look
check
at
out the I was gonna say check out that play on ESPN Bet.
Yeah, I was just looking at that one.
Main bot.
All right, here.
That one. Yeah.
Yep. So this is full game spread here with Georgia Tech getting 10 points at plus 100 odds on ESPN. We have all 3 sharp books. That's what these nice represent, our chart books. So that means that all these books are factored into this DVIG process, and they're charted down here. So like, again, this chart gets a little sloppy when there's lines on top of each other, but we have this key on the side that tells you the actual prices of the sharp books. So bookmaker minus 110, circa minus bookmaker minus 111, circa minus 110, and pinnacle minus 110. So everyone's leaning this way a little bit. The fair value is minus 102, and ESPN Plus is giving us even money on a bet that we're having over a 50% win probability for. So it's definitely good value here. I love like the confidence level when you have 3 sharp books is the best. And even at that low EV percentage, you're still confident because so many books are factored into this line. So this is another good point too. When I look at the NFL props, is we don't use the Circa, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle as sharps when it comes to player props because just like some of their first quarter markets, they have really small limits. So we use kind of a collective market average of some books that we've selected. Like Bet Rivers, we're not factoring them into our DVIG process, obviously, because we don't care about their odds and they're just terrible at setting odds. But here's one right here on MGM, Javonte Williams under 15.5 receiving yards. Now this is 2.3% EV to a DVIG to all of these books. So we have DraftKings at minus 130, Caesars minus 135, Bet Online minus 129, Pinnacle minus 134, Bovada minus 135. So we have tons of books showing value to this line. So this is a great play here. We have our charts pick up historical data, and on our player props, we're having trouble picking that up right now. So if we can't pull historical data on player props, we thought we'd be able to, then we'll just end up removing these charts and probably showing these DVIG books are kind of highlighting them a little bit more. So that's something we might make an improvement on. There was a couple updates that we wanted to talk about, Jeff, right? I forgot exactly what we wrote down there.
It was just our channels, our bot channels.
And then we're working on, as we've been talking about this whole stream, is college football using Bookmaker and Circa. So and right now our bot weighs Pinnacle quite a bit into our DVIG process. So right now we're in the process of switching that around to kind of weigh Pinnacle and Bookmaker and Circle a little bit more. So hopefully we can get that done for next college football Saturday. I think we're going to find a lot more plays too, because we're not flagging plays that Circa is kind of weighing us down with. So I think we'll end up finding a lot more bets when it comes to college football once we get that project done.
So another question in chat was, are we trusting penny day of for first quarter, first half, and full game bets for college football? I actually just pulled up the limits. So I'm looking at the Ohio State game right now. So Pinnacle has limits for the first quarter at $1,000 for spreads and totals. FanDuel alone will take over 5,000 on a spread for a first quarter. And let's see what it takes for a total. And about 3.4 thousand for a total in the first quarter. So you're talking about limits for FanDuel that are 3 to 5 times as much as Pinnacle for first quarter. I'm sure first half is the same. For full game, Pinnacle's taking for spreads and totals 5,000 on spreads and 2,000 on totals, where FanDuel would take almost double that, 10,000 for spreads and and 7,000 for totals. So based on that, I wouldn't trust Pinnacle solo against a FanDuel line or our retail lines. I'd still want to see that Bookmaker Circa back. And one thing you can do with that, Breeze, is usually if there's value to Circa or Bookmaker, the main line will ping too. If the main line pings with value, I'd have more confidence in that penny alternate also having value. But if you're not seeing that main line ping, that's probably, I would just stay away from penny alone, just because their limits are so much less than even like a book like FanDuel.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Pinnacle is that they offer so many alternate lines on their markets. So you're not going to see, if we take Pinnacle completely away, you're not going to see all these other bets. So it's kind of a tough situation to be in because Bookmaker and Circa kind of only have main lines. Circa, I think, only has main lines, and Bookmaker has a couple alternates, but Pinnacle goes like all the way down with spreads and totals. They hit everything. So Greek had a good, it's not really a question here, but for player props, he usually waits for Bet Online odds to place a bet unless the chart says otherwise. Would you agree that this is the correct move when placing props for NFL and MLB? So yeah, for me, I would like to see Bet Online and FanDuel when it comes to player props, because I don't know exactly their limits, but I believe that they take the largest bets on player props. So their odds have to be a little bit more accurate. So when I'm looking at, the player prop graphs, I'm looking at the bottom of the graph to see which books are in the DVIG process. If I see Bet Online or FanDuel DVIG in that, then I'm pretty confident. And then I also don't want to, since Bet Online and FanDuel are pretty sharp, if a bet pops up for FanDuel, for me to bet that, I'm going to want to see at least Bet Online and multiple other decent retail books in that DVIG process. But that's a good point there. FanDuel and Bet Online are definitely my favorite DVIG books for props. Breeze asked another question. Do you know? Yeah, limit numbers for Bookmaker.
So I just pulled it up. So circa limits for spreads are 30,000, totals 5,000, money lines 10,000. So you're looking at just absurd limits compared to Pinnacle and ones that are much higher than what we saw over at FanDuel.
So what the 30,000 was spreads, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I just kind of,
And it's a
figured-
little different based on how, I think this is also a good point we should probably bring up, is it also changes on how big a game is. So
Mhm.
like if you have a big SEC matchup, the limits are going to be massive compared to, let's say you've got two really small schools, you've got a Sun Belt game. The limits in the Sun Belt game are going to be much smaller than what you're going to get in these primetime big game matchups.
Yep. Same thing with like NFL. Monday night games are going to take a lot more action than a Sunday game at 1. So you can factor that in a little bit too. I mean, you obviously just pointed this out, but I always kind of figured with the sharp books, their limits would be like ridiculously high on money line bets. But I did notice that the spreads are what they really dial in and take a ton of money on.
So like probably one of the bigger games today is going to be the USC Michigan game, which as a Michigan fan, I'm terrified for, and I will be down at the game. So I may have one or two too many beers watching my Amazing Blue play. But the limits for that game are 60K for spreads, 10K for totals, and 20K for money lines. So you can just see the difference in terms of like what the limits are at for circa in terms of how big the game is.
Yeah. All right, let's find another bet here. So we'll go into, I mostly focus on like FanDuel. My limits are the highest on FanDuel and DraftKings. So those are the two books I kind of really focus on. So let's try to find one more here.
While you're finding that, Robbie. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I was just going to say, Cal, we're trying to get Jay on. Jay is got some business to handle too. He just had a hurricane go through down where he's at. So as soon as he gets his house back under control, Jay will be on here. Don't you worry.
Yeah. I think he said in the next week or two he should be back, moved into his house and stuff and ready to go. So we'll get him on soon. So here's another play too, where this is a play that I would avoid, and luckily no one's taken this bet yet. But so we have Jacksonville State versus Southern Mississippi here, and this is a first quarter total, and it's a small EV play, so I wouldn't play it to start with. But we have Pinnacle being the line that is kind of making this play EV, which we know Pinnacle is not sharp. So, and at least for college sports, and Bookmaker isn't even really presenting any value to this game. So just a play I would avoid there. Just wanted to point that out.
Go up one more, Robbie. Go to the first half over 29.5. Be careful, guys. Like this one, 2.5, and this is a fine play. I would actually probably hop on this at maybe quarter Kelly, but be careful with your bet links. FanDuel is notorious for changing the line as you click your bet link. So like if you click on this and it opens up your bet on FanDuel, the line's actually at 30.5 for FanDuel. So they'll set a price, they'll realize their price is off or their line is off, and they'll change it. And it just won't update instantly on our feed. Our provider, once it gets updated, it'll erase this play, but this play is actually listed at 30.5 at plus 108. So don't just see the plus 108 and hit it. Make sure both numbers are what they should be.
Oh, good call.
Because FanDuel's just notorious for that. I don't know why, but they're just a point off, and they'll change their lines, and it'll still ping before our provider can update it.
Yep. How many bets you got out today, Jeff?
About 60, 65. I haven't updated my picket since I've been throwing some out since we hopped on the stream, but I would say about 65, maybe 30 units worth. So hoping for a big day. I need some football in my life after baseball's just hit me like a freight train this month.
Yeah, I got 65 open also. I think I've been pretty good. Here, I'll share my picket tab real quick. Let's look at this month. I don't know. Can I get to the calendar on here, actually? There it is. I think Saturdays I've been crushing it. Yeah, so
Saturdays and Sundays have been my best.
Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays have been great. That was a nice run right here. Saturday, 1.4K on college football, and then next day, $1,000 on NFL. So there's so many opportunities on the weekend. This is when, you probably, like we've said this before too, but I might have more money out on the Saturday than I did Monday through Friday because of how many games are on right now. So this is kind of make or break. Weekends are kind of crazy when football starts up. And then once college basketball starts up, it's even more crazy. I've had, I think, like 150 plays open one time, just betting mostly college basketball.
Jeez.
College basketball's insane, man.
Yeah. Here's a good play on FanDuel.
Can't wait.
Marlins Braves first half runs over 5.5 total, plus 168 on FanDuel, 1.7% EV. Not great EV, but Pinnacle just kind of got priced down pretty hard here. Looks like FanDuel is slightly moving down already. So this is one that I would definitely be grabbing.
Don't do that to me, Robbie.
What?
I know. Baseball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, your base. I'll go back. Let me share it. Let me show you. They're going to talk you out of
don't do that to me.
They're going to talk you out of betting baseball. But let me just show you something.
I'm just out on baseball to the playoffs.
Look at that. Tell me baseball isn't worth EV betting. That's all time.
All right. If it was June, I'd be all about it. September 21st. I don't know if I can stomach it, but the EV is there. The chart looks good. I've been crushing CLV this month for baseball. It has just been, we've been fighting.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. It doesn't even mean that you're taking, just because you're losing doesn't mean you're taking bad bets. And just because I'm winning, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm taking anything better than you. So people struggle with that. If you're losing, you might be finding great plays. It's just not happening for you right now. Yeah,
we just had a nice little tennis ping on FanDuel.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's a first half on Jacksonville State FanDuel too. The bookmaker.
Yep, I just hit both of those.
I might have to start hitting these because I haven't been hitting them.
I have been distracted and not sending plays to the bot channel.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna try placing some bets here. Yeah, I don't know if you want to kind of able to stay on stream and keep finding bets for a little bit and calling them out if anyone finds them.
Yeah, we can hang out for a little bit. I probably got like 10 minutes before I got to run. But
all right. All right, so I'm placing this bet. I just placed it. 1.8 units here. This is massive EV to bookmaker on a first half one. So pretty good play. Is this tennis play still alive? I'm going to try hitting it. Nicholas,
I got it.
1.5 set handicap. Let's see. So it's at plus 150 now. So, I mean, that's a good example of, well, tennis moves extremely fast, but that's how much value
moves so fast.
So this play FanDuel had it at 168. I just opened it up and they're at plus 150. So the sharp book got hammered down to that plus 150 range. And then pretty much this is how it always works in the market. It's pretty predictable. When a sharp book moves down, the retail book is just going to follow. And that's exactly what happened here. So this play is now dead. And it'll clear out of this channel shortly.
Got a decent play in Fanatics on NFL. Vikings Texans.
Yeah, this one has been pinging like
it's been pinging since Monday.
Yeah,
Fanatics, I'm on it. I'm all over it.
Yeah, it keeps popping up, all the alt totals and everything. But yeah, great play here. Fanatics over 46.5 at plus 105 odds, 1% EV. It's a small EV play, but we have two sharp books, Pinnacle and Bookmaker, into this line, so it's a good play there. So Fanatics plus 105, Vikings and Texans over 46.5. I've noticed this on Fanatics too. When I go in to place these bets, sometimes they'll have better prices at better lines. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like they might have over 46 points at like plus 110, even though they're over 40. Yeah, like they just do like really dumb stuff like that all the time. I noticed ESPN Bet did that too when I was betting college basketball. They would have like a lower number with better odds. It made no sense. So here's another example. ESPN bet kind of jumping up and down here. They don't really have any true movement, so they're just lowering and raising their price kind of. So I'd just try to hit it at the peak. The best price is -130. If you can grab that, the sharps are at -147 here. So good play. But yeah, we're getting plays pinged like crazy right now. It's a really busy time of year. Once we have, there's a little overlap where all the 4 major sports are happening at once, right? It must be in a month or so.
October.
Yeah, end of October or something. That'll be crazy. The Discord is only 4 months old. Actually, maybe it's a little more than that. 5 months old.
Five
We
months
haven't-
old, yeah.
We haven't gone through NFL, the NHL season at all, and just the back end of the NBA. So we'll still be building some bots to hit those markets. We've been, we have a lot of experience positive EV betting, and the concepts are kind of the same across the board. So there's not too many differences when it comes to sharp books and main lines. It's kind of just bread and butter of sports betting. It's going to work on any market that is taking a lot of action. So we'll have those bots built, and they'll be definitely a fun time of year.
You just got a question from Breeze again in chat. You're kind of talking about the ESPN line going up and down. Yes. What if you see a Pinnacle MLB line that doesn't, like, it's kind of moving up and down and doesn't really have a clear, distinct trend?
I would like to see it, but when I see Pinnacle moving up and down, I'm picturing that sharp bettors are hitting it. They're seeing the price go up a little bit, and then they're finding value and pricing it down. And then those other bettors are finding the other side of the line valuable at pricing it back up. And when you get that up and down movement, I like to pretty much pinpoint that the fair value is right in between that movement. Instead of using like the DVIG of wherever it's at, I use the fair value is like right in the middle of that line. So I actually like when you see that up and down movement, because that means bettors are kind of hammering this bet on both sides. And that means that price is probably pretty damn good right in between.
So he said there's an ESPN, a good example, Astros Angels under 4.
Let me pull it up. This is probably, it's just a good, I wasn't sure if they were talking about the up. If he's talking about this kind of up and down movement, it's a little
probably
weird. Yeah, it crosses 0. So, I mean, the fair value is probably that like plus 100. It's like probably right there. It's a tough chart to kind of give a good example of, but play that I'd be taking here. Bookmaker also priced pretty low, so definitely a good play. All right, you guys have anything else to add? I know Jeff needs to get to the Michigan game.
Let's have a good day.
Though.
Oh, Brayton, you're muted.
Yeah, I saw that. I've drained my bankroll on ESPN, FanDuel. I have no money left, so let's make some.
Love it.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is I'll answer this question because it gets asked all the time before we go, but people are afraid to play a certain percent of their bankroll. As long as the bets aren't correlated, go ahead and put 100% of your bankroll out there every day. As long as they're good EV plays, you want to get as many plays as you can. You want to get your bankroll through. If you can, say you're making a 3% ROI on your bets, if you can get through 100% of your bankroll every day, you'll be making 3% on your bankroll every single day. So if you can do that, it's a great way to grow. It's kind of scary having all your money out at once, but at the same time, whether you place half your money today and half your money tomorrow, it's all going to get out there eventually. You might as well just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember times before I was dealing with limits, when it was college football, NBA, college basketball, and NFL going on. I would literally have my entire bankroll out, and as soon as plays would settle, I'd put it right back in on more plays because I ran out of bankroll to keep firing away with.
Waiting for a couple of bets to cash to go play some more.
Yep.
So, all right, guys.
All right, guys.
Doing this, everyone. We'll probably be doing this again on Saturday. We're trying to throw a couple extra streams in there during the week, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, guys. Let's go make some money today.